So I'm over here in Puerto Pollensa. It's approaching mid-November and I'm going to take you for a walk right along the waterfront here, along the Pine Walk, along the main beach area to give you some amazing views of Puerto Pollensa out of season. Now I have just filmed a live stream over here. I have to say it was a little bit on the shaky side. I didn't have my gimbal with me, but in this video I'm hopefully going to give you some slightly steadier views to give you a really good impression of what this resort is like when summer finishes. And you can see I am on the jetty this afternoon, just looking out along the Pine Walk. You can see people sitting on the benches enjoying a little bit of afternoon sun, but this afternoon sun is soon going to be disappearing. You can see the sun is starting to dip in the sky. So let's head on along the Pine Walk and into Puerto Pollensa. So just coming along the Pine Walk here, you can see how much the light does change as we roll on through the afternoon here in Puerto Pollensa. And I'm standing outside of the Illador, which I do believe has closed today, right at the end of the first week of November. And what a different sight we have here today. Normally they have all the tables and the chairs out. On a Sunday as well, normally they have flamenco dancing as well. From southern Spain. That is not the local dance that we have over here in Mallorca. That's the bal de bots, which you'll see at the festivals. But this is an amazing spot, as many of you do know, whether you come over here to actually stay at the Illador, or indeed if you're just coming over here for a few drinks to enjoy the sunset that you do get from over here, or if you're coming to watch the live entertainment, to go back and check out some of my videos from this area from last summer, and I'll drop a couple of links below. Look, everything has been closed up for the summer from over here. And before we leave this area, while this hotel is just recently closed, I'm just going to zoom in here, look, just to give you an idea of what the swimming pool area is like. Looks very nice as well. You can just see the views as well, looking out down the coast too. Absolutely stunning. Just coming down a little bit further along the Pine Walk here, look, check this out. Last winter, I remember we had one of the beautiful pine trees here take a tumble. They've managed to stabilise it. Winter has just started and anything can happen down here, and we've already had a couple of storms too, but let's keep our fingers crossed. So we have plenty of people promenading over here on the Pine Walk this afternoon, and we have plenty of cormorant birds out on the ends of the jetties. Look, check out these two. So as I walk down this area of the Pine Walk, we can see that we're surrounded by plenty of apartment rentals, and well, I do have a warning to put out about it. Check it out in my most recent island update. I'll drop a link to that in the description text below this video. And just looking across the Albuquerque's beaches, you're going to see the effects of the storms that we've had over here over the past few days. Take a look at this. So this whole area here, look, has collected water running off the land over the past 48 hours of rain that we've had over here in Mallorca. And it just goes to show how quickly the weather can change over here. Yesterday we had a lot of wind, a lot of rain, and today, look, it's bright sunshine. You just see some hikers heading on by me. This is as well the most wonderful time of year to go hiking over here in Mallorca, but you have to get out quick in the morning to make sure you're back to where you're staying in the afternoon, because as soon as we hit around 5:30 it does get very dark, and it gets dark very, very quickly too. As we see so many people here, look, heading on down the Pine Walk this afternoon, taking a Sunday afternoon walk. Let's keep heading on into the centre. So lunchtime will pretty much be over when we head on into Puerto Pollensa. Look, I'm outside the Boatyard 57. This was a hive of activity during the summer months. I'm just standing in the area here, look, of the lifeguard tower. Again, looking out at some gorgeous views across Puerto Pollensa Bay today. So I'm just standing on the decking here of the Velomar restaurant, looking out into the water. I can see a swimmer, an elderly gentleman too. I hope the water quality is good over here today. I really, really do. Like I said in the live stream, they do remove the flags, and lifeguard service did end on the 31st of October this year. As you know, last time I was down here, we did have a big question mark over water quality over on the Albuquerque's side of the bay. But all those flags have now been removed. That doesn't mean to say, though, that the water quality has improved. And as I always say as well, if it has been raining over here in Puerto Pollensa, maybe try and avoid swimming for 24 hours. And look at this, look, I'm right outside of the Cappuccino restaurant. This whole area here has been reclaimed by local fishermen for the winter. Otherwise you're going to be paying a hearty price for a cocktail or a coffee or a meal on this little terrace, but not so over the winter months. So the whole resort centre is falling into the shade here. You can almost understand actually why this area doesn't open throughout the winter months, because suddenly as we're plunged into the shade, the temperature feels like it has dropped quite dramatically by at least a good 5 degrees. You can see why it's almost impossible to keep this area open. Should we have a quick look at the square? Let's pop round and have a look at the square. I didn't get a chance to have a look at the square during my live stream, but we'll do a quick loop around. So this stretch of restaurants here, running from the El Casinet all the way down to the 1919 Cafe, is packed. You will have seen it in the live. Loads of people over here having Sunday lunch. But is there anything open in the square? Let's go and have a look. And as we come into the square here in the centre of Puerto Pollensa, do you know what? I think we have had a restaurant open over here looking over at the Osteria. I think we've got another place open too. I'm absolutely freezing. I'm going to have to get myself back into the sunshine as soon as possible. But just give you a few November views. And I also see, look, got some news for this winter. Every time we see summer finishing, we do see casualties in the restaurant industry. And I'm just walking across the square here in Puerto Pollensa to see that there's a sign up on the Kashmir Indian Cocina restaurant here, Setra Pasa, which means basically this unit is going to be up for let for summer 2026. We're going to see some changes down here. Mind you, I don't think you actually do need a second Indian restaurant. Look, we've got the Cardamom right in front of us. I can see some people just waiting to eat there. But the Kashmir looks like it's closed down permanently now. I'm just bringing you down the side here of Bonnie's. But looking across the square, look, I see another restaurant open. Again, this is surprising for November. And look, right next to Centric here, we have La Rovina open too. So I take that back. There does seem to be a demand for sitting out in restaurants over here in Puerto Pollensa, even in the shade in November. And let me know in comments, does this show that this resort should stay open a little bit later on into the winter. Well, I do wonder. And I have more bad news by the looks of it from over here as well. Off at Puerto Pollensa Square, Mark's Restaurant. Now this is bad news because I know that this restaurant is a really big favourite of several of my viewers. Many of you have pointed out how much you enjoy their menu del dia. But look, again, Se Pasa is up on the window, which means that this looks like it's closed down for good this summer too. And from the sounds of the Neptuno restaurant, this is also open too. What a shame we do not have more hotels open down here. In fact, I don't know if we have any hotels open over here in Puerto Pollensa at the moment. Like I said, the Illador has closed. And what a shame. So I've now hit the main road coming down through Puerto Pollensa Centre. Just as a reminder, as I found out a little bit earlier on as I came to Puerto Pollensa this afternoon, the Eroski supermarket is not open on a Sunday any longer, unfortunately, and I can't even tell you where to find a supermarket in this area. I think your next stop is going to be in Alcudia. We're going to have to wait till Monday, as I'm going to have to do today. So we've rejoined the waterfront here from the 1919. Panning the camera around, let's just head on down towards the La Lonca area. And there's some places in Puerto Pollensa where the view remains the same, whether it's in summer or in winter. And it's this area here, this little boatyard right here. Look at it, it's absolutely stunning. Super nice though, just coming along the waterfront here to see some favourite places open over here in Puerto Pollensa as we head on in the direction of the beaches. And do you know what, there's a yoghurt shop open here. I'm amazed to see that open, and a smattering of other places too. Quite a few people finishing off for Sunday lunch a little bit further ahead. There's still some places with, look, shops open. Absolutely amazing. Now, if we had a few more places to stay over here in Puerto Pollensa, this really would make a marvellous winter sun destination. I film here in Mallorca year round, and while during the day, when the sun is out, it's absolutely glorious down here. There's no reason why areas like this can't stay open just maybe a little bit later on into the season. But if you want to find out why we have a holiday season over here in Mallorca and what it's controlled by, I will drop a video about that in the description text below. Find out more. And in fact, this whole area down here is open too. Amazing, amazing. Just looking down across to the Stay restaurant, which has managed to hang on to the sunshine this afternoon, even though much of the waterfront hasn't. Look at the views, look. And look, a beach where storks have now taken over the sands. Do you know what? I can hear quite a few English speakers around me over here on this side of Puerto Pollensa this afternoon. I suspect we have quite a few holiday home owners, or maybe residents actually. Let me know if you have a holiday home over here in Mallorca and if you prefer to spend your winters out here rather than in Northern Europe. Our place is open all the way along here too. Goodness me. Okay, so about 15 minutes have now passed since I reached the La Gola area, and I've just filmed my island update from over here. You can see now, look, the sun just disappearing out right in front of me. Let's quickly head on up to the beachfront, and we're going to finish this video just with a few further views down the beach. I can see a camera team, a professional camera team in front of me. I wonder what they've been filming this afternoon, but let's get some final views of Puerto Pollensa today. And that includes taking a quick look at La Gola, and look, you can see that we're being plunged into the shade from over here on Puerto Pollensa seafront. I do wonder what they've been filming in front of me. I'm sure we'll find out at some point. And it looks like and sounds like they're a German film company too. But anyway, gosh, we really have hit winter down here now with that sun going. Has got very, very cold, and I can see, look, La Gola has now closed, that they've shut their doors for this afternoon. And what is the time? What's the time? It is 5 o'clock. And you may remember that the Youts Beach Bar was open in front of me as I started this live stream. Looks like that's closing down now for the day. But look at how different this resort looks now. And look at this, look, still possible to grab yourself a drink from over here. It's still very much open. And look, with the setting sun here, you can see some clouds bubbling up in the distance. We may well get a shower over here in Puerto Pollensa a little bit later on. But it's looking like, as I head on in the direction of my car, I am one of the only ones down here. Everyone's just about left the beach for the day. And this is something else you wouldn't expect to see on the beach over here in Puerto Pollensa. I can see a cat is enjoying the new look to the beach. So with temperatures dropping, that is my cue to leave Puerto Pollensa for this afternoon. So if you would like to see the live stream which I filmed earlier on in the day, check out this link appearing here on YouTube. If you want to see another video from last summer, maybe check out this link appearing here too. Okay everyone, thank you very much for watching. It's around 15 degrees now, I'm absolutely freezing. In the meantime, I will be back in the resort very soon. I'm also going to have more news coming out from Puerto Pollensa very soon, and some useful guides too. So don't forget, you can find me on Facebook and on Instagram, also called Mallorca Under the Sun, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Goodbye for now.